Hey Ben.
Hello everybody. How you doing?
All right, everyone. Great to see people on the stream already. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is, wherever you are at the moment. How you doing, Ben? All right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm not too bad at all. It's been a bit warm, but I'm getting used to it, you know. As I'm getting older, I think it's hot flushes, things like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was about to say that, Darren.
It's great to see some familiar names on the stream as well, on the messages. So welcome to Javier, Shannon, and great to see Louise back as well. Thanks for your awesome show the other night, Louise. Loving ThingLink, and I'm using it for one of our school's virtual tours, which is fantastic. So welcome to everybody. We're really excited tonight. As you know, we've got a very special guest, so we're not going to hang around at all. All I'm going to do is say this lady that many of you will already know of, but may not have had the opportunity to hear or speak to, is currently program manager at Google for Education, leading the Google Certified Trainer Program, which in itself is massive task, and the Google Educator Groups, for which I think she's officially a patron saint. I think that's pretty much what's been decided. But prior to working at Google, she was also a high school maths teacher in California and held some other jobs before that as well. So I'm not going to steal any more of her thunder. And let's bring her on and say very welcome to May Yu. Hiya, May.
Oh, I think you muted there, May.
Yeah, May's muted.
Oh my gosh.
There we
go. Again, hi Ben, hi Darren, and hi everyone in the chat. I see people dropping in, so appreciate you guys making the time. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
You are very welcome.
this is definitely an opportunity we've been looking at for a while, haven't we, Darren? Trying to get May on the show. So it's it's great if you're here with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Really, really happy. So I'm just going to bring your deck on screen for us, May.
Cool.
And then we can kind of go through at your pace, exactly as you like, because I know you're very keen to have some conversations around the Google community rather than it just being a kind of demonstration or anything tonight, which is fantastic because Ben does love to talk. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I would love it if I just give a quick intro and some general sense of what the trainer program is about. And then I would love to hear your experiences as well. And I'm sure people on the chat, they can chime in and they would love to hear your guys' experience too, if that sounds good.
Absolutely fine. Take it away.
Cool. What was my first slide? Can you go to the next one? Let me take a look.
So there we go. So it was the agenda.
Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to give a brief intro of myself. I'll talk about how I got to Google for Education, then a little bit about the trainer program, which is the bulk of what we want to talk about today. And then I want to also talk about the GEG programs. I know you guys call it the GEG. I've never heard that till recently, so I love that.
Well, we call it the GEG. Yeah.
You guys call it the GEG. Okay, cool.
We call it the GEG. Steph calls it a gag. But,
there's all sorts going on.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Cool. So let's jump into the first slide or the next one, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. There we go.
Okay. So I was actually born in Taiwan. I don't know. I think I gave an intro in like a video I did for the trainer program a while back.
Yeah.
But I was born and raised in Taiwan, and I moved here when I was 11 years old to California, so where I live now. In Taiwan, I actually went to a local Chinese school there for my first grade, and my parents quickly pulled me out after first grade because they hit me there. So I don't know if that's like common in other areas, and I think they don't do that in Taiwan anymore, right? But they would. It's not like a crazy hit, but it's like they'll tap you with a ruler on your hand if you like don't get above like an 80% on a test. Or like for me, like Ben, I like to talk a lot. So they would like they would hit me or they would make me stand against the wall, which is like just a crazy experience growing up in a school like that, where they like, it's called, I don't know what the English word for it, but they would like make you face the wall where you can't see anybody. And like everyone can see you as the class is going on. So that was a weird experience. But do you guys have that in UK like ever before or no?
In the past, yeah. I mean, I can certainly remember sort of people being stood in the corner of the room facing the wall or stood on a chair, which was obviously very safe in those days.
Right.
So, if you didn't want to read aloud, you'd stand on the chair and do it in front of everybody.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And rulers and board rubbers thrown at us. And
no, I'm too young for all that, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. Can you imagine doing that now, though, in your classes? Like, that just blows my mind that was okay at one point.
Yeah, it's a very, very strange looking back on it. Really.
Yeah. And then I moved here to California, and then I went to UC Berkeley, which is just an hour up from where I live here in Northern California. So I majored in business. Coming from a very Asian household, I think business was like that. It was like the minimum that you would expect. Like, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of stereotypes that like Chinese families, they want kids to be doctors or lawyers or something. So business was like the next best thing. But I liked it. I liked it decently enough, but I just really wanted to work with kids. And so I minored in education. And then coming out of Berkeley, just due to strong encouragement by my parents, I took a finance job at Intel. So where they make those little chips. But I wasn't passionate about it, even though I liked the people there. So I made a pivot and I became a high school math teacher in Eastside San Jose, which if anyone's from California, Eastside San Jose is just 15 minutes down from where I live, which is West San Jose. And the difference in the demographic and the social economic status and the poverty there is just like 180. So just like 10, 15 minutes down the street. All of my students were on free reduced lunch what is that the same thing as in the UK? Do you guys call that free reduced lunch, where the school pays for their government pays for their lunch?
Yeah, we have free school meals, but
Free
yeah, it's
school
the
meals.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the kind of the what my students were all. They were all Latino. They came, I think, when I was teaching at the time, there were no students that had family members that attended college. So they were all the first generation going to college. So yeah, I would love to talk more about that at a different time, but that was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had. And the next slide, please, Darren.
Yeah, sure.
And then you know, given that I live here in Northern California, I couldn't live, I guess, live on a teacher's salary while having to help out my retired parents who also lived here as well. Just for transparency, in California at the time when I was teaching, I was making about 40,000 a year, and just living here, like imagine renting a place per month. It's like $4,000 rent, you know. So it's just not feasible. But I wanted to live here because my parents are here. We wanted to start a family. So yeah, really luckily I got a job here at Google due to my finance background. So I got a job in compensation, which was actually pretty cool at the time because in compensation, we basically knew everybody's salaries and their levels. And it's a crazy amount of power to have in our little small team. And then my job in particular was I did new hires. So people who got hired to Google, I was basically the lead that determined what every single person got paid for people coming in. So it was a very intense but fun, interesting job. And then I wanted to show here was that best part of that was I had coworkers that none of them were teachers actually, and none of them came from education, but they were all really passionate about working with students. And when I left, I had my junior class they were going to be seniors. So at this time, they were seniors applying to college. And a lot of them, I had 30 students at the time that were really applying to college, and they were reaching out to me, asking me to review their essays and stuff. But I obviously couldn't read that for all 30 of the students. So I got my team to actually pair up with them one-on-one. And this is just all volunteer basis from my team members who basically took the next like 5 months from, you know, September through January to mentor a student, just, you know, and a lot of them invited them to Google campus because they were close by. A lot of them took them out to eat, you know, GV or video chatted with them. And yeah, it was just such a cool experience that to see people at Google that's not part of the Google for Education team care so much about students that they don't even know before. I wanted to ask you, Ben and Darren, do you guys have, like, how do you guys apply for college? Just for my context, I should know, but I don't know.
Go on then, Ben. Go.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, I think it might be best for you to, because you used to lead a sixth form here in the town, so it might be best for you to go with this one.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. Yes, I was head of sixth form for a number of years. Basically, we have an organisation called UCAS, which is the Universities and College Admission Service. So everybody that wants to go on to university puts forward an application to UCAS, and they apply for up to 5 different university courses, which means their application process has to be a little bit generic, because obviously if you're applying to 5 different universities with the same application, if you start saying things like, oh, I'd really love to go to Cambridge, and, you know, Hull are reading it, you're not going to do very well. So it kind of prevents any specifics going forward in the application itself. But it's quite long-winded, and it varies year on year, because we have tuition fees here that students have to pay for the vast majority of courses. Some universities will have very, very high expectations. Others will be a lot more generous with their offers. And more now, we are seeing unconditional offers. So students just being offered the place regardless of their grades. And I think it's fair to say, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who would say this, that has had quite a detrimental effect on student motivation at sixth form level in the UK, because students get their unconditional offers and are almost, you know, in January kind of thinking, well, I've got my offer now, so it doesn't really matter what grade I get. So it's one of those things that really bugs me, that the kind of the education system in England sometimes fights against itself. Yeah.
It's a bit strange, to say the least, I think.
Yeah, I know, and that must be super hard for other students who, in the same classes, or teachers that are trying to instill some knowledge into you for the last like 6 months.
Yeah. Obviously the teachers have all got performance targets to hit as well, so they're trying to motivate students to get better grades, and the grades, and in some cases the students are saying, I'm quite happy with the ones that you're suggesting I'm going to get. I don't need to work any harder because I've got an unconditional offer. So yeah, it's a little bit kind of unfair, I think.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, cool. Next slide for me, please.
Sure.
So then really luckily, so I worked on that team for about 2.5 years, and I wasn't really looking to leave, but I came across this really great opportunity for Google for Education. And just so you guys know, Google for Education doesn't hire that frequently, I think mainly because people are all passionate about working here, so nobody wants to leave. So like on my specific team, I guess just for some background, at Google for Education, we have 4 major departments. So we have the sales team, and that's the biggest one. And they go out and they are the ones that connect with different districts around the world. And they're the ones that really trying to, get people to use Chromebooks and so on. And then we have our marketing team, and those are the people who put on that Anywhere Back to School event. So that's that team, and the like other websites that we have. And then we have our product team. That's the team that actually does the product. So when you guys have feature requests, they're the ones that, really work on the roadmap. And then we have my team, which is the smallest team by far, and it's our programs team. So things like the trainer program, GEG program, Innovator that Darren, you're in now. And those are supposed to be programs that really help with adoption. So our team is called a program adoption team. And so that really helps adoption of G Suite tools in the classroom. And so when I joined that team, I actually didn't join as the trainer program leader, but I was doing this thing called transformation report, which I think only if you're an admin at a school, then maybe you've heard about it more. But basically, it's a report. I won't go into it. It's kind of boring now, but you guys can search about it later, transformation report at Google. So I worked on it for about a year or so. And then I got Joyelle. So here, I had to sneak in a cute picture of her. She is almost 2. Well, she's not almost. She's like a little bit over a year and a half. She's 2 in February. But I took off 6 months. So here in the US, we have, or at least in California, you get like a month prior to giving birth and then 5 months because of Google's great benefits. So I had a total of 6 months with her with no work. Is that like that in UK? Just curious. How long is maternity leave and paternity leave?
A year, isn't it?
A year?
It kind of depends. It's varying different amounts of pay. It's a long time. My daughter's 16 now, so it's been a while. It might have changed. But it goes down after a certain period of time and your pay reduces.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
We've only recently got kind of parity in terms of paternity leave. So up until fairly recently, fathers could have 2 weeks and that was it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's intense. Okay. Yeah. So 6 months is like a crazy amount. My husband had about 1 month. So he was working at Apple at the time. So yeah, so I think Google benefits is just so good here, and we're lucky. So yeah, when I came back, it's funny, and it's kind of like a weird situation, but when I came back, I didn't get my project back, so I didn't get to go back to this transformation report, just because someone took it over and it went in a different direction when I left. And initially, I was kind of like, oh man, but that was like my baby from when I created it when I came. But they gave me the trainer and GEG program, or trainer program first, because nobody was really, and I think Darren, how long have you guys been in the trainer program for? A year or? I know it's newer.
I'm coming up to 3 years now. Actually,
okay.
It's 3 years today. I did my first boot camp.
Oh, no way. Okay.
For me, it's only May. So
yeah, you just okay. Yeah, I remember.
Just got it. Yeah. So I've only been in the game for 6 months.
Is
That's
that
awesome.
because you're the youngest Google certified trainer in the world, Ben?
Yeah, we might have to plug that. Yeah, it might be because of that. Yeah.
At some point, that's not going to be true anymore. You do realise that, right?
I've got the achievement once. I don't know many other people my age that have done this, so I'll keep that. I'll keep that title proud.
I think we'll start a hashtag. Yeah.
No, I actually it's good time because I actually wanted to ask you, Ben, and I don't even know, how did you even hear about the trainer program, and like, how did you decide to apply? And you are really the youngest one, so that's so cool.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a cool experience, to say the least. You know, to say I'm the youngest in the world is a big thing, you know. And I think how I really got onto it was following Darren's footsteps, really, because we both work in the same schools. Shall I say? We work for two in the same town, and you know, it's something I wanted to do for a long time, do the educator exams, but I just never had time to do it. It was only when I got ill with the double pneumonia and what's now thought to have been COVID that I had time to start going through the exams and doing things at home during lockdown. So I started doing those, and very quickly I went through 1 and 2. And you know, I've been doing in effect doing the training behind the scenes for the last 2 or 3 years. I've never got the qualification to prove that I was doing it, you know. So sort of Darren and the global GEG team, you know, people like Stephanie and Fred and Louise and Abid and everyone pushing me to do it and supporting me in my application. So put it in, gave it a go, and I was fortunate enough to get it first time as well. So I was really shocked, but you know, really grateful. And it's probably one of the best things CPD wise I've ever done. So you know, it's one of the best families I've been a part of, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's so awesome to hear. And I'm so glad you're in the program. And I do want to call that out because I think, you know, I've been told by my team that we can't really share the I saw the comment about how old is the oldest. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really share like what the acceptance rate is, I guess, like publicly online, but it really is difficult. Like a lot of people, the applications that I see are people who have applied for the 3rd, 4th, 5th time, you know, and people here have the experience and they've talked about it where, you know, the rubric is really difficult. We do want to make sure that you are able to, you know, really train people in like have that expertise. So yeah, major props to you, Ben. It's really cool.
Thank you. Yes, I was shocked when I got the email. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning my time. I saw the I was like, I was sort of, am I dreaming? Is it first time? No way. And then sort of went to the toilet, come back, and I reread it. I was like, oh my! I actually got it. I was first thing I emailed, you know, you and Dean, and just said,
"Oh,
curiosity, am I the youngest?" And
yeah,
that was the first thing I did when I got that email through. So
that's so awesome. And then Darren, how did you, just real quick then, how did you apply 3 years ago? How'd you hear about it?
Yeah, so I used to work with Dean before he was working at Google.
You were his teacher, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Dean was also my teacher. How strange.
Yeah.
Dean was your teacher?
Dean was my teacher for media.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I taught Dean in my first year teaching when he was in year 7, so he was 11 years old. And then
oh my God.
when he finished, he came back to work at the school initially as a sort of media and music technician, and then kind of found his way into teaching media, and then became learning technologies lead at the school. And Dean and I used to share an office, so we'd spend a lot of time kind of just testing products on each other and finding new things and kind of go, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And just having a lot of fun with it. And I'd constantly be interrupting his video calls in the background, trying to sneak past in the office. And it kind of came from there. So I learned a lot from Dean. And then Dean sort of said, you know, why don't you apply for it? I think you'd be really good. So I did. I applied, didn't expect to get in. I hated doing the video because I had no video editing skills at all at that point.
Oh,
so
no way.
No, so I did it all in one take, which was really nerve-wracking. So, yeah, I got my trainer certification about July, I think it was. And, yeah, it was 3 years ago today that I went up to Aberdeen for the first time to do a support staff boot camp for Apps Events as a training partner.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And that was with Dean and with Ben Rouse and with Charlie Hope as well. So it was really good.
That is amazing. Yeah, so cool to hear that. Yeah, so then when I took over the trainer program, I initially felt it was like really daunting. I don't know, Darren, your experience before, and I would love to hear it a little bit later. But I just like when I came back from mat leave, I had no kind of there's no like passing on the baton of the trainer program owner. Like I just took over without any context from before. And so, and I knew there was a huge group. I think we have over 5,000 people in our trainer program now. And yeah, and I didn't have any relationships with anybody. But I think, you know, really quickly, just having to talk to people like both of you, Ben and Darren, and just other people who are really passionate about their work. I think that is what makes me so excited about being part of our trainer program. And I feel like truly, other than the time when I was teaching, where it's like the day to day with the students, I've truly never had a job like this where I felt so passionate about going to work every day, you know, like and I feel like, you know, I was talking about the different teams here at Google, not just, you know, talking to you guys and I'm saying this, but I truly think that my job on our programs team is like the best job because nobody else gets to work with educators like yourselves, you know. So that I think what really drives me into wanting to do more for trainers, wanting to do for more for our programs. And then, you know, how I became the GEG leader was I think it was maybe like 3-4 months ago. A lot of folks I think coming out of like the global GEG, what you guys are a part of and what the 6 founding members started, it was really quick to realize that, hey, there's no support with the GEG program when people are trying to launch to become leaders and people to get approved. So I kind of just talked internally with folks and I wanted to step up just to take over, mainly just so that I can just approve people and like get things going. But yeah, it turned out now, which is so great. There's at least in the US specifically, we've grown so much in terms of the number of GEGs and people are launching. And then this allows me, I have a weekly meeting with Dean, and this allows me to work with Dean to kind of see what, you know, you guys are doing in the UK and in EMEA and what best practices we can go through. So yeah, that's a long ramble, all to just say I really am passionate about being, you know, part of our trainer and GEG program. So yeah, next slide.
Yeah, I mean that massively comes across. I mean, like you say, since you took over, the for those people who aren't trainers already, one of the things that a lot of people warn you about when you become a trainer is the emails because of the trainer group. And it was one of those things where there were millions of emails, but there was no structure to it. And since you've been on board, May, that's been so much more organised, so much more manageable. And obviously, like you say, and as we were saying beforehand, the GEG stuff has been fantastic as well, because those launches of those new GEGs or GEGs or GAGs, if you're Steph, they've been able to be global events as well. So, for you know, I've took part in GEG SOFLA and Texas launches. I know Ben, you've taken part in things, and it's just been great to be able to dip your toe into other people's waters, you know.
Yeah, that's so awesome to hear. I know, especially in the beginning when there was a bunch of GEGs launching, I saw a bunch, like Ben and Darren, both of you guys were a part of just random launches that were not even part of the UK or anything. So that was so great to see you guys support each other.
Yeah. We just didn't get any air miles for it, which was a little bit disappointing. But you know,
and you know that's what that's a big thing for the whole Google family, isn't it? It's helping one another and just supporting each other in everything you do. You know, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, if we're GEG UK. You know, if we can help and give our expertise to other people somewhere else in the world, then you know that's what it's about, helping out and supporting one another. And that's one big thing that comes across in the Google trainer community, that everyone's just willing to support one another, you know, with whatever event, whatever training's going on, there's always someone there to support. So, you know, that's really nice.
Yeah, agree. Thanks so much for
love in the chat. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. I'll take a look at the chat later, but thank you guys so much. So briefly about the trainers, I'm sure most of the people who are watching now are trainers, but you know, this is recorded, right? So afterwards, I'll send it to people who I think should be trainers. I'll get them more involved. But trainers really are just, you know, really passionate individuals who are able to do really, really top quality professional development. And I wish that when I was teaching, I knew of the trainer program, and I really didn't. And I think, kind of going on a tangent right now, but just so you guys know, and I haven't really shared it broadly, but my plan for the rest of 2020 and 2021 really is to focus on schools where, like the one I taught at, where we don't know anything about Google. Like, we were on Google products, but we didn't know anything about Google resources. And I think if there was, a Ben and a Darren at every school that is lacking that type of support, it can really transform the school. So that's kind of my focus. I want to target those high needs districts, somehow leveraging the best practices from trainers like yourselves and seeing how we can really amplify that effect. But that's something I'll keep you guys posted. I probably will seek both of your advice out later on how to do so. But yeah, I think
Definitely.
Like everyone's been saying here, I love our trainers. I love the trainer program. I linked it here, and maybe I'll link it, afterwards. I don't know if you guys have the link.
I'll share it.
We'll link that later. But yeah, and then the next slide, Darren, I want to jump into kind of what the trainer program benefits are. So this is something that I just wanted to, this is something that's already there before, but something that, things that we are really focusing on for the last few months and going forward. So one, you guys already know, you guys have that little trainer badge, which I have something to share with you guys. And this is the first time, I think I told Ben and Darren already, this is the first time we're announcing it. So we'll wait like a few minutes before I share that. But yeah, everyone who's a trainer, and you guys have seen it everywhere, they have that little blue logo everywhere in the emails and so on. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of like an exclusive club. Visibility in the EDU directory. So I found both of you guys in the EDU directory, which is awesome. Do you guys have any experience in like getting like people reach out to you guys through the directory, or do people not use that as much in the UK? I'm curious.
I've not had anyone.
No?
No. Most of my contact seems to come through work or through Twitter.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. That's probably something I should talk to Dean about and have him promote it over there. Because in the US, and at least in certain pockets, I have heard that when people like schools, they want a trainer to like hire someone to do some training, they just go to the directory and they search for the areas near them. So that's a cool benefit. We have the own domain, and now you guys know, and I hope you two have signed up for the enterprise domain.
Yep.
I haven't yet, actually.
Oh, you got to do that. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
The Steffi School, because right now, and I sent this an email like just 2 days ago, like on a Friday night, so over the weekend. But now, if you're on it, you get all the new features that hasn't come out yet for Google Meet. So things like breakout room, the Q&A, the polling. So you guys really should get an account. You guys can, really see what's upcoming so that you can be more prepared. So that's something really cool. I feel like they never allowed us to do that just because our trainer program was so big. It's kind of like you really have to establish that trust within Google and be like, no, they're not going to share out. Like, don't worry. So that's like a long, and I am happy that we're moving in the right direction, because people are really valuing trainers, especially, or other like our innovators and our GG program as well, but just really trainers as the experts. Jumping down, once you're a trainer, you're in this exclusive community that you guys were talking about, where you really share with each other, share best practices. And I kind of want to hear both of your thoughts on, what have you noticed, or what is great about the trainer program and the community, and just your thoughts on your benefits that you've received since the trainer program, if that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I've been on board for a little bit longer than Ben, so I've had probably more chance to experience the kind of the in-person benefits that kind of COVID has gotten in the way of. But things like the energizers and the sort of annual visits to things like Google headquarters in London and things like that, and getting together with fellow trainers, away from school in a completely different environment, to share new product ideas, to look at design thinking and different products, and be able to just sit down and have a conversation in a nice relaxed atmosphere with real experts like Dean, like Ollie, like Ben, and people like that, Devin as well, that give us the opportunity to kind of, firstly put your ideas out there and sound them off of somebody. And I think that massively helps with imposter syndrome, which a lot of people suffer from, myself included.
Me too. Yeah.
But equally as well, just that opportunity to network and off the back of it, being able to support each other as well with Google Innovator projects, with things in school, with sharing training, and certainly in the last sort of 6 months through COVID, I've done a lot more of supporting other schools off the back of conversations and connections through things like the global mental health staff room, which is on tonight at 8 o'clock, and through conversations on Twitter and all those kind of things. So it's been brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I just got to echo what you say, Darren. You know, I haven't been in it as long as you. Obviously, I haven't done in-person events or training yet. But you know, through the COVID period, you know, I've had a number of schools contact me through Twitter, and I've done some one-to-ones, and we've been part of even the government project over here for the demonstrator. You know, which is introducing schools that aren't already on Google onto, getting them involved with Google for education and seeing how it can affect them in their school, and doing that initial training is getting them onboarded with them. Is fantastic. Having opportunities to do that things as Google trainers and product experts is really nice. And the other thing I really like is just having that communication line. As I said earlier, there's always someone there to support with any needs you have, any resources that you might need, or any questions you might have. The Google group's fantastic for that, and even on Twitter and other social medias, we're all just pulled together as a team. It doesn't matter if you've not even met them in person before. There's people on this chat like Rachel and Abid and Steph and everyone. I haven't met any of those people, but me no end, helped me more than some people I work with here in the school, and they've done so much for me as an individual and supported me so much despite not actually physically knowing them. And it just goes to show what a lovely group of people there is in the trainer program. And that it's a real family vibe I get from the program, that's for sure.
Yeah. Shannon's just popped a comment in here, which I think is really, really important. Everybody within the community is really supportive, but they also challenge you in the right ways. They're not just going to nod their heads and say, yeah, you're doing the right things to keep you happy. They will push you. They will challenge you. They will ask the difficult questions. But as Steph R likes to say, quite often it's put in a sandwich. So you get the nice side either side and then in the middle,
And Carla's put a good point on there as well. Just having the trainer perks you've been working really hard on for us, May. There's some amazing stuff on there, and as Carla says, it saved us a small fortune in subscriptions on certain EdSec tools that we've used during lockdown and stuff like that. It's just been it's really, really good that you've been working so hard on that for us.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I don't think Sarah, do you guys know Sarah Kiefer? She was also an innovator. I think you guys recognize her name. I want to give her the shout out because she's actually the one that really goes and partners with people and then route them to me to connect with. So yeah, it's so cool that trainers like yourselves are going out there and like using their connections to really see how they can benefit other trainers versus just keeping it to themselves, which is so cool. And I know you guys are on StreamYard right now, and I just had a conversation with StreamYard last week about potentially giving, free type of licensing. So fingers crossed, I'll keep you guys posted, but I think that would be a big one for us.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully. And then, sorry, I just want to jump to, but yeah, just to recap, Ben and Darren, I feel like what you guys had said is so much more eloquent than I could say it, but I really appreciate your sentiment. And I feel like, and I can see from the chat and other people who I've just seen reach out to me. I know, we have the Google group and people respond to each other widely, but there are a lot of trainers that just respond to me individually. Maybe sometimes they feel a little bit nervous, to share with everyone. But the sentiment is always that, wow, I'm so proud to be a trainer. I'm so lucky. And it's not just like, oh, I appreciate you, May, but it's really like I appreciate other trainers, I'm learning this from other trainers, and I'm so glad people just randomly share out, like build out really professionally built out resources and just like, here, free for everyone, go ahead and use it however you like. And that's something that's really cool that I feel like isn't, available in much other areas. And then, yeah, I went back to what I was saying before with our trainer program. I feel like we're, at least internally at Google, we've really promoted it to where, trainers are valued here in Google. And I know that we were always valued previously, but I think it's a most top of mind right now, where when they think of, oh, who can I partner with to do something with educators, and who can I spotlight? They're coming to me now. They're coming to our team and being like, hey, do you have any community members that, that you think are great and want to be spotlight? So just like the junior training series, and I know both of you are a part of, that's just like a random little idea that came out, and you guys just jumped on it. I know Steph Howell really led that initially and just kicked it off to everyone. But yeah, wanted to get your thoughts on how beneficial have you guys seen that, and do you guys share that around and with people, families that you work with? And what was the experience like working on such a cool project that now has like 70,000 views?
I mean,
it's incredible, isn't it? It's just like I can't even comprehend.
It blew up so quickly, and you know, just an example. We've got all of our new year 7 starting this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and initially we had an hour or two where we actually just sat with them and we went through the training series videos and getting them sort of copy what they're doing on the screen, and sharing it with parents and put it on Google Classrooms that kids might not, for help when teachers aren't there. If they're trying to do something, can't get hold of it, check out this series. And, they've loved it. And seeing it's from all over the world, the diversity that brings as well. They're not just listening to my voice, which sometimes I admit is quite boring, but I do my best. But it's lovely that they can then listen to other people from around the world and see how they do things as well. It's it's for me and my students. They've loved it. So
yeah, it's been really fantastic. I mean, we've shared it across the whole of our trust.
Yeah.
So
wow!
It's gone to. We've got 58 schools in our trust, so it's gone to every head teacher in the trust. And as Ben said, we've used it in school personally, but then I've also been sharing it, and Ben has as well. I know we've both been doing training for the EdTech Demonstrator program in the UK. Where the government has funded schools to get online with Google for Education and other products. So we've been using that and sharing that with the schools that we've been training as well. And the feedback's been brilliant. And it's been awesome to have the opportunity to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, thank you both for sharing. I feel the same way, and I feel lucky that you guys, like on Google's end, I think everyone here feels really lucky that you guys were willing to partner with us to create a series like this, and I know you guys feel lucky that you guys got to work with Google, but truly Google we wouldn't be able to produce a kind of like that tech toolkit for families and guardians without something like this, because this really is like the crux of that whole toolkit. This is the one that's passed around. And I'm sure you guys have seen that general video that I know some of the global GEG members were part of, those like 6 like hero videos. Those I checked this morning, I think has like total of like 17,000 views, and the junior training series has like 5x 6x that amount, and you really should be proud. Like that was a Google produced video that's written, script and everything, like written by Google. And this one is, I just want everyone who's watching to know, you guys created your own scripts, you guys created your own way of demonstrating that specific tool, and that has gotten so many more views, which is really a testament to show how great educators are on the front lines and how meaningful that is. So yeah, well done to you guys and everyone who's watching.
Thank you on behalf of everyone for the opportunity.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
And then we talked about the 0.7, those free licenses, and I saw people in the chat talk about it. So that's really cool. And then the last thing, and this one's new, and Darren, you can let me know if you guys had that a couple years back, but we now did you guys both attend the PD with Future Design School? Were you guys able to join?
Yeah, I went to the sessions in August. Yeah.
And so those are, so I'm planning on having a lot more of that as we go on, because the value, I think, just, for you guys, and I feel proud saying this too, because when Google hosts trainings, you know, we mostly hold trainings for people who are not experts like you guys. So obviously the response is more positive all the time, saying like, oh yeah, you know, I learned so much from Google. But what's really difficult is to put together a training for you guys specifically, because you guys are already experts, you know. And from the Future Design School professional development, the responses there, almost like 99% of people who attended are like, yeah, I learned something new that I can apply. So really learning that, I think that I want to continue that. And just so you guys know, it is super expensive to pay Future Design School to run the professional development, but they really are the best. Like, I truly think they're one of the best in terms of this design thinking type of development. So I want to continue that for, you know, the 2021 and so on. So yeah, these are some cool benefits I feel like people get when they're in our trainer program. And then next slide is I want to show you guys the trainer badge, which this hasn't been announced before. I think it will be announced in October or something. I hope I don't get in trouble. I think it's fine. So this is the old badge now.
We won't tell anyone. It's fine.
Okay,
it's not like we're live or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you can click onto the next slide, where it really is just a much cooler design that really shows off our trainer logo. So things like, you know, in the future, and I think we'll share this so that you guys can get added to your email signatures and other areas. But I think this is just a better aesthetic design. And just know that going from an old to a new badge isn't easy. I think this took a year in the making from our marketing team. So yeah, this is something cool. I think people are super excited about. I think Google will share out, and you guys can start using it. It's not just for trainers, so it's going to spread all across the Innovator, GEG programs, and so on. There'll be this cool Google color logo that just, I guess, is more representative of Google. So you guys can feel prouder to show that off. Yeah.
Brilliant. Love it.
Cool. Next slide.
I said I love both. I've just printed my training things for up in my classroom. I've laminated it in A3. Proud.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm doing now.
We all know how much you hate a badge, Ben.
Oh, I love a badge, mate. Every badge, any badge.
Yeah, no, I've actually heard that from a lot of people, where they print out the trainer badge or like the level 1, level 2, and just like stick it on their classroom windows. And then
I've got all three, 1, 2, and trainer.
Oh, no way. Yeah. Do you think it encourages other people to be like, oh, what's that? Like, should I be a part? Because I've heard that from people.
And you know what? I have had people this week even ask me, oh, how do I do that? And I think that's positive. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
Is to try and push people to get involved in this community and start doing things with Google. And we've had a couple of teachers here did some of the boot camps with us for Global GEG during the summer. And all got a couple of them got to level 1. So it's it's just about spreading the word, isn't it? Spreading the joy, spreading the word, and getting other people involved in the community. That's what it is, and that's it's really positive.
I think as well, it's been really good and really healthy to have the same sorts of conversations with the students as well.
Right.
They've asked, they're always asking me, why have you got stickers all over the back of your laptop? Where'd you get those from? And I explain to them what I do. And for them, like initially understanding that someone's a teacher might go off and do something that's not in a classroom with children is really, really bizarre. Because of course it never would have happened in the past. So until they know about it, they kind of thinking, oh yeah, whatever. And then I kind of show them my YouTube channel and things like that. And they're like, oh, wow, okay,
And when the kids, I had exactly the same conversation with my kids this week, and they asked me, what's that? What's all these badges on your email? I explained it to them. And when I say, oh yeah, I've got these badges from Google, and they're like, you work with Google? I said, well, I don't work for them. I train them products, but they're shocked that teachers do something outside the classroom. They think we just plug in overnight and in the classroom and stay there. We don't go home. We don't do anything else. We just stay at school all the time. So it's quite nice.
Yeah, I know. That's so funny. And then so I had 2 more slides, and this is just a GEG, but I know we're running out of time. So I want to see if people have any questions about the trainer program or anything that Darren, you and Ben have, because we talked a lot about the GEG. And Darren, if you just go to the next slide, there's a map on our teacher center that just really shows like where the GEGs are, just so people can join one in their group, in their region and stuff. But yeah, that's my stuff for today. I'd love to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Yeah.
And I see people in the chat. I know people are dropping comments, and I'll read through them later, but people are so nice. So thank you guys so much. So sweet.
There was a comment earlier. I had a message from a gentleman called Rick, who said May needs to join the staff room after this.
Yeah, I will.
And then someone called Cora the Corgi seemed to agree with him. So no pressure. But don't forget, there is the global staff room tonight after this, so you are very welcome to come along and join.
Thank you so much. I will try. My husband and daughter are waiting for me downstairs for lunch, so I'll try. I appreciate that.
I just want to chip in and just say, thank you, May, for coming on and sharing all this stuff with us today. And for the first time announcing that badge as well. I love the new slick design, and everyone, as I'd definitely say, look back through the comments. There's so much love for you looking through here, and loving the stuff you're doing for everyone. So, I just want to say for us, it's so lovely that you've agreed to come on and share with us today.
Thanks so much, Ben. I appreciate that.
And I would add as well, if anybody who's on the call who, if you see an email pop up saying, would you like to get involved? Don't be afraid to get involved. That, as we said earlier, that imposter syndrome can be a real pain, but May's incredibly supportive. I've been fortunate enough, as you have been, to be part of the junior Google training series. And there's a couple of other things in the pipeline that I've sort of said, I'm happy to be involved, and are really, really exciting. And it's great to be able to contribute, like you were saying, May. I feel like sometimes educators get a raw deal because they think we're all about the holidays and all about the money and all that kind of thing. But actually, we're all about the students and giving them the best opportunities. And moving forward, we can't continue as educators to educate children in the way we were educated. That doesn't work, because that's not the world they're living in now. And it's not the world they're going to be living in. So we have to move forward. And I just feel like, certainly in the last year since you taken over, the whole community has been sort of reinvigorated. And there's a huge passion in there. So it's been great.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I know, but before we leave, since you guys talk so much about it, I would love if you guys want to share with people, because I will be sharing clips of this to other people who aren't trainers and aren't in GEGs. If you guys want to kind of share what is the UK GEG, at least, like, how does that bring educators who don't know about Google together? What's the purpose of that? And then how do they, let's say, want to join your global GEG and want to get involved? So anything you can share with people, I would love to hear that too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're all over Twitter, and we've got Facebook groups as well, both for Global GEG and for GEG UK. GEG UK is kind of going through a bit of a relaunch, and COVID kind of took over a little bit. But we've got our Google group running, we've got our Facebook group, we've got our Twitter group, and we've got our website as well, so that anybody can access those. On Twitter, we're at GEG_UK. And we are currently looking at expanding and filling those areas of need. So when we've looked at the UK map, for example, there's real hotspots, as we were talking about earlier, but there's other parts of the country that aren't necessarily so well catered for. And although at the moment everyone's fine with virtual learning and everything else, it's great to actually be in person with people. And quite often things sort of centralise towards London, but centralise is the wrong word because it's not central. So we are looking at moving forward how we can look to host things maybe sort of regionally or sectionally, or in more kind of accessible locations for everybody to have a chance to bring everyone together. Ben, do you want to say a bit about Global as well?
Yeah, I mean, Global is, as we all know, it's only started up in May, 1st of May, and the speed it's grown and the community we've brought together is, in that short time, is next to phenomenal. It's, there are so many amazing people all come together just to share and support one another. And, we're all over Twitter, Facebook. We've got Google groups. We've got YouTube channel, YouTube events going on, and all over the place. And there's so many great things happening. You know, I couldn't even start to tell you how much stuff we've got planned and the stuff that we've already done, because it blows my mind every time I see the calendar and see what we've got going on. You know, there is something for everybody, is what I want to say, and there's a place for all of you to join us in Global GEG. So, you know, we want you to join us. We want you to be with us. You know, check out our YouTube channels and Twitter groups to see how you can be involved.
And obviously a massive shout out to those 6 founding members.
Yes.
I'm sure there's going to be a Mount Global GEG at some point with their faces carved into it. I think it's only right, but without those guys, none of this would have happened. We certainly wouldn't be doing this show, would we, Ben?
We would not. I wouldn't be doing a lot of things if it wasn't for the 6 founding members, including being a trainer. They pushed me to do a lot of things that maybe the imposter syndrome kicked in to start with, but they really pushed me and told me, you know, I should be doing this, and without them, I wouldn't be here today doing what I'm doing. So, take me hat off, and a massive thanks to all of them.
Yeah, and I want to quickly jump in. I know we're almost out of time, but Steph Rothstein, I don't know if she's on this call, but
she is.
Yeah.
So she was actually, I just saw that comment, but she actually was the one trainer I've met in person. She reached out in January, and I was like, oh, you live close. Why don't you join me for lunch at Google? Before talking to her, I have never talked to any of you guys. And I know, you know, I'm in the forums and stuff, but I've never personally had any connections with any of you. And, you know, she came, she shared an idea, and somehow she went back, and then she got, you know, talk with Steph Howell and other folks and Abid, and all of a sudden they came to me with the 6th group at the founding members and was like, oh, we have this idea, like, you know, how can we, you know, move forward with it? And yeah, and I think it, just like what you said, it's through Steph and then through them that I really got to know you guys and other people within, and it really just expanded that. So Steph said that. So yeah, shout out to Steph, shout out to the other 5. It's amazing, you know, how they have really led you guys to come together, and now how you guys are really championing the Global GEG to other educators around. So just want to say thank you both, Darren and Ben, so much for everything you do and for having me on. And this was one of the best conversations I've had. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Straight back, you know, Darren just says, thank you so much. It's been a session we've been talking about for a little while, isn't it, Darren? Trying to get you to come on, May, and we're so glad and fortunate that you accepted it and come to talk about this, because it is something we're all passionate about, and hopefully we can inspire others to go ahead and take the qualifications and make the way up to be part of this amazing community.
Yeah, for sure.
Just one thing I want to put up here as well. A comment from Melissa. Global GEG, the best thing that's happened to 2020.
Hi, Melissa.
I've had a rough 2020 of my illness, and I've got to say, Global GEG has been a saviour. It's been amazing for me, and it's just been great.
And the only thing I could add is I can't wait till we can actually get together in person. Start to do this kind of thing physically as well as just virtually. You know, the energy that's going to come out of those rooms when people do get together is going to be phenomenal, I think. So it's not too far off.
Being not into an in-person event before, it's going to be something special. It's going to be magical when we do get to go.
Me too.
Brilliant. Well, we're gonna call it to a close there. Thank you so much for joining us, May. It's been absolutely great to talk to you and to share your passion and to be able to share ours as well. Those of you that are on the call, don't forget, you know, Global Staff Room is on tonight at 8 o'clock, just in a couple of minutes. So do drop in and join us. That's where a lot of all of this came from. And it's great to talk to like-minded people, particularly at times when they're challenging like they are at the moment. So do feel free to drop in and have a chat in the staff room. Okay. But thanks ever so much, everyone. And we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.